There's always something up your sleeve. So I won't listen to a word you speak anymore. Oh no, 'cause you only bring me down. But no, I am gonna fly. You're gonna be loneless when you're without me. You're gonna regret it sooner or later. You're acting all tough, you think you're all that, but don't you know what goes around comes back seen them all with open eyes. Seen islands, open spaces, Serengeti sun slowly rise. All these memories, I hold them near.
All right, hey everybody, welcome to Strongbrook Live. It is the right time and the right place, and I'm so glad that you're joining me from wherever you might be. Whether you are in California, New York, Florida, or any other state that I have missed, maybe you're in Hawaii, maybe you're actually somewhere out of the country, I welcome you here to Strongbrook Live. It is so great to have you here. And before I jump into anything, I just want to give you a massive show of gratitude. Thank you. I understand that time is our most valuable resource, and the fact that you're spending the next 16 hours here with me, I'm just kidding, okay? It's only going to be an hour. You're spending the next hour, though, here with me is a really big deal. Time is our most valuable resource. Sometimes we think it's money, right? But sometimes we think it's our energy, but both of those can be replenished and replaced. Our time is one thing that we don't ever get back. It is our most valuable resource, and I'll say it again and again, but I'm so grateful that you're spending this time here with me. Now, not to belabor that or anything, just wanted to show some gratitude. I am so excited to be here today, and I'll tell you, tomorrow is a special day, isn't it? Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, whether you like to celebrate that or not. It's kind of a fun holiday, but it's an interesting space because here we're talking about growing wealth, and we're going to talk about actually creating the wealth that you have always wanted to, maybe even creating the retirement that you've always wanted, but maybe for some reason have never been able to create for yourself. And one of the things that I've become very clear on is that wealth isn't like stumbling across a pot of gold, right? There's no leprechauns here in this space. We've got to actually do specific things. We can't slide down the rainbow into this pot of gold, right? We have to actually have a plan. It's something that we actually call a game plan. Now, I want to talk this game plan for just a minute, but before I do, I want to kind of lay out the foundation because I think this is really, really important for us to understand. If we continue to go the path that we've been shown, we probably won't get what we actually want in the end. And I want to describe what I mean here because I think most of us want to come to this space called retirement. And the retirement we want it to be amazing for us. We want this retirement to look just wonderful, right? Whatever that might mean for you, we want it to include travel. We want it to include time with our families. I think a lot of us want it to include doing the things that we've always wanted to do, spending our time living inside of our passions, whatever that might be. And that's this kind of strange retirement space that we're trying to accomplish or trying to get to. But the reality for most of us is we're on a path that's just not taking us there. The path is just not going to get us to where we want to go. I want to describe this path to you for just a second, so walk with me here. It starts off going to school. And we go to school because our parents tell us to go to school. And not that school is bad. Education is actually amazing and really important. But oftentimes we're doing it for the wrong reasons. We're going to school because everyone else told us to. And so we jump into school, and by the time we're a sophomore, we've changed our major like 13 times. You know what I'm talking about, right? So we're going along this path, and by the time we graduate, we're so excited because we got this piece of paper that tells us that we're smart. And we get this piece of paper that tells us that we can now move forward and we can do things differently, or we can require or ask for more money, right? Maybe we come into the job force at a mid-level position rather than an entry-level position. And we think that this piece of paper gives us that permission to do so. So we work so hard, we get that piece of paper, we get into the job force, and we start working and working and working. And if you're like me, you don't just start working, but you start working and then having kids and kids and kids. I actually have 7 children, okay? My oldest is 12 and my youngest is almost 2. So for me, life got real fast. And I'm doing all these things, and you look around you and you see everyone else is buying a home, and everyone else is getting the car, and everyone else is going on the vacations, and everyone else is doing all these things, so I should do this too, and we go into debt to do these things. And then we start to get older, and we're hoping that the raises at work and the hard work that we're putting in is going to at least match, hopefully beat out inflation. and the cost of living that's ever increasing, and the medical bills and the schools and the weddings that are coming up and all these different things. And then we land at this retirement space, right? Hopefully. We get to the age of retirement, we think that we're supposed to now live the good life. But what does it look like for 97% of us? What does it really look like? Well, we know that for most of us, retirement doesn't look like what we wanted it to. And the reason for that is because we never stepped into this journey here that we've been talking about. We never stepped into it with a true plan that works. Now, I want you to think about this for a second, because we're here to talk about real estate today. We're here to talk about growing wealth through real estate, receiving residual income. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. But how do we create that wealth if we don't come into it with a plan? Let me ask you a question, real estate related. Would you ever build a home without first consulting with an architect or a draftsman or someone and having a blueprint in place? Something that you could follow that would tell you where to lay the foundation, where to put the walls, where to insert the systems, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, all these different things, how to actually put the roof on so it's sturdy and it's gonna keep out the wind and the rain, the snow and the sleet and everything else, right? Would you go forward in making that home without that blueprint, that plan in place? And maybe even more to my point, would you build that home only at the end to take it apart board by board and brick by brick? No, absolutely not. You'd think that was ludicrous. Well, then why do we do that with our financial lives? Why do we go forward in our financial lives and just kind of take life as it comes and build up this pile of money only to whittle it down at retirement and to throw it back away? I'm going to talk today about something really important, which is how do we build that legacy? How do we build not just for a retirement for ourselves, which by the way is super important that we live in this, where we have the ability to live in passion, to live in the things that we want to do, to spend more time with our families, our friends, inside of the things that we desire to do the most, utilize our talents to bless others' lives, right? Most of us can't do that because we don't have the time or the resources. So how do we do things differently? How do we plan it appropriately so that at the end, not only do we create this massive pile of money, but we teach that money to stay put and to continue to pay us on a monthly basis and to really even not just stay put, but to grow through retirement so that we can leave a lasting legacy for our family. That's what we're here to learn and talk about today. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. Carson, could you grab me my PowerPoint? Thank you so much. We're talking about creating wealth through real estate, right? Creation, management, protection, and the growth of true wealth. So I'm just going to jump right in. Hopefully you've got your pen and paper because you're going to want to take down some notes right here. So just stay with me if you would. Oh, that's not forwarding. I think that's okay. I think it's the little piece of this. The plug for this, is it in there? Oh, it's in there, okay. Oh, there we are. Fantastic. So, one of the things that we know is that 90% of American millionaires made their money in real estate, okay? Right? Made their money in real estate. Now, if it's so easy, if 90% of American millionaires made their money in real estate, why isn't everyone doing it? Like, I just want you to think about this for a second. And honestly, as you're watching tonight, if you have any questions, please type them in. We've got a moderator here. They can give me your questions that you have, and I'll go back and even answer them. I'm okay with that, wherever we are in the flow. But I want you to think about these things. If 90% of American millionaires made their money in real estate, then why isn't everyone doing it? Well, I'll answer that. The reason why everyone doesn't do it is because it's not easy. Often people say, well, hey, it's not rocket science. Honestly, it kind of is. Real estate is very, very complex. There's moving pieces. They're constantly changing. If you've been around for the last decade, then you know that the market does a whole lot of this, right? The market isn't stagnant and flat, although it over time it's going up. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of fluctuation. So how do we plan appropriately for that fluctuation? How do we capitalize at the right moments and in the right markets, doing the right strategies? Well, those are the questions I think that most people have, which is where most people fail because they don't understand that. And that's one of the great things that we bring to the table here at Strongbrook is we teach people the ins and outs of real estate. And not only do we teach them, but we also offer services to do it for them. Because I've gotten really clear. Most people don't want to jump into real estate to be the landlord, right? Again, most people get into real estate because they do think that if they follow that rainbow, at the end of it, they'll see the leprechaun and they'll grab that pot of gold and it's all going to be great. That's really not how it works though in real estate. You've got to know how to navigate that rainbow. Have you ever tried to catch a leprechaun, by the way? It's near impossible. I've never done it. I don't know if any of you have done it, right? So the same thing goes with real estate. It takes some doing. It takes some know-how. And if you have access, though, to the experts that have done it again and again and again, all of a sudden your path becomes a lot more straight. As a matter of fact, our book is called The Straight Path to Real Estate Wealth. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. But we teach people the singular strategies that work the very best. You want to make the most money in real estate? Don't be a landlord. Just take advantage of the benefits of what real estate can provide for you and let go of all the other minutia that you don't want to really do anyway, right? Really take advantage of the benefits and let go of those things that you don't want to take a part in. So we're talking about financial freedom, creating financial freedom. I want to ask you a question and write this down right now, wherever you might be, on your computer, at home, if you've got a pad of paper. I want you to write down your definition for financial freedom. Like right now, just take 30 seconds. Ready? I'm going to give you 30 seconds. For some of you, this is going to be very awkward silence. And for others, you're saying, Stephen, if you would just stop talking. All right, 30 seconds. We've got 20 more seconds. What is your definition of financial freedom? I think for everybody it's different. You've got 10 seconds. Financial freedom. All right. Okay, hopefully you've written down your definition for financial freedom. I do believe that for everyone it's a little bit different. Some people think that they'll be financially free if they just had an additional $5,000 a month. Some of them think that they'd have financial freedom if they had an additional $10,000 a month, right? So it's different for everybody. But really at the end of the day, I think I've got a definition that fits into everything that you're trying to accomplish here. My definition for financial freedom is residual income exceeding expenses, right? That's pretty simple. Once you have created enough residual income that exceeds your expenses, all of a sudden you've created freedom in your life. Time freedom. Freedom to go out and do what you want. To go out and spend your money the way that you want to, because again, you've got more of it. So residual income exceeding expenses, but just to take this one step further, what's residual income, right? Because although I think a lot of us have heard about it, most of us still don't have it. So let's just define it real quick. Residual income is income that is continuously generated after an initial investment of time, money, and effort. So you do the work once, you invest the time, the money, the effort once, and you continue to get paid again and again and again. And all of a sudden, if you can get to the point where you have enough residual income, then it's like having a pot of gold that continually replenishes itself. Are you getting my theme here? I know, it's St. Patrick's Day, I get it. Pot of gold, leprechauns. All right, just stay with me here, okay? So we've got to have more of this financial freedom. We've got to have more of this residual income, because at the point that your residual income does exceed your expenses, you no longer have to go to work. MSNBC said that 83% of people hate what they do going to work. They hate going to work every day. It's a chore, it's a task, they don't enjoy it. And if they had the choice, and by the way they do, but if they felt like they had the choice, they would leave, they would do something different. How does that free up? How does that create more freedom when all of a sudden you don't have to go back to work? You can choose what you spend your time doing. I mean, it's an amazing feeling. So I want to show up an example here. And I want you to think for just a second, who has the most financial freedom? We've got three different examples up here. We've got a doctor, we've got a general contractor, and then we've got a teacher maybe, right? And if you look at their incomes, they're making a variety of different incomes. The doctor's making $250,000 a year, the contractor $86,000, the teacher $40,000. And if you were just a first glance, you'd probably look at them and say, well, she found the pot of gold. I'm going to keep on going. Just bear with me, right? She's earning more money than anybody else right now. That's a position I'd love to be in. How many of you thought that when you first saw that, right? And not only that, but she's got great combined assets. Assets of $450,000 is not bad. She looks pretty young still, right? She may have some work left in her, a lot of work left in her. Well, here's a contractor, $86,000. He's got $1 million of raw land, so he is a net worth millionaire. A net worth what? You're right, a millionaire, right? So he's doing certain things that have helped him to actually accomplish a lot here. He's done things differently than most people because most people can't say, hey, I've got $1 million worth of raw land. So he's doing some good things. And you look at the teacher, $40,000 a year, right? That's kind of the average income right now. If you just cut it across, she's earning the average income. But she's got something that nobody else has, which is really important. And I've been covering it up, but I want to reveal it here. She's got something that they don't have. She has residual income. If they all had to stop working today, who would have the freedom? You're right. I kind of feel like Dora the Explorer. If anyone's ever watched that, they ask the question, and then they're then they're waiting to see if the kids are answering on the screen, and then they answer it. Anyway, right? She's got $3,800 a month of residual income. That means if she had to stop working tomorrow, she has replaced her annual income. She has freedom. She doesn't have to stress out. She doesn't have to send her children or her husband or whoever else to work. All right? She can truly take that time and all of her expenses are covered. That's real financial freedom. And really this is a conversation of trading our time for money, earned income, right? Trading our time for money, which is something that most of us have to do at some point in our lives. We then start to accumulate this net worth, but the reality is his net worth, going back to the example of the contractor, he had $1 million of raw land. That $1 million would do him not very much if he was in a financial pinch. He would have to liquidate. He would have to maybe sell it at a massive discount. Maybe he wouldn't be able to liquidate it very fast. So it's not really cash in his pocket, right? It's not paying his monthly expenses. So that net worth has to be converted into a cash flow. And I've got a few eggs here in that nest, right? That nest egg. We've got IRAs, 401ks, home equity savings. If those things aren't paying you monthly, it's time to reconsider where you're placing your money. J.B. Shea was a French economist, and J.B. Shea said, creating wealth is nothing more than taking your assets from areas of low yield and moving them, transferring them into areas of higher yield. Now, I know that's kind of elementary, but it's crazy to me how many of us don't really grasp that, or if we do, we don't do anything about it, right? We just put our money into these areas of massive low yield. I'll tell you why I think it is, and bear with me for just a second. How many of you have heard of Warren Buffett? I'm sure that everyone knows who Warren Buffett is, right? One of the richest men in the world if you don't know him. I read a book several years ago called The Snowball. If you're ever interested, it was a fantastic read. It talks about his investment strategies, what he does, how he does it, his philosophies. And there's one thing that I know. 97% of us think differently than Warren Buffett. I'll prove it to you. When I say, if I were to tell you that I could earn you 100% on your money, what would you automatically think went right along with that? I'm going to earn you 100% on your money every single year consistently. I can do that every time. What would you automatically think? Well, I've traveled across the nation into different countries around the world as well, and every time I ask that question, I get the exact same response. Great return is equivalent with, or high return is equivalent with high risk. High return, high risk, right? I think we all think that. We're conditioned and taught by our parents and our grandparents to think that way. Anyone who went through the Great Depression, right, has taught their progenitors, is that the right word? What that's all about risk, and you can lose all your money, right? If you're in something that's a little shaky, you can lose it all. So we have this idea that high return equals high risk. Well, Warren Buffett thinks differently than 99% of us. He thinks, in order for me to get any investment, I have to have and secure a large margin of safety. Well, what's a large margin of safety than another word for low risk? So Warren Buffett thinks, in order for me to get the highest return on my investment, I have to have the lowest risk possible. Isn't that interesting? It's just a different philosophy. It's a different mindset. But we think high return, high risk. He thinks high return, low risk. Who's more successful? Warren Buffett is, right? So I'm just posing the question here. And I want you to start to question your philosophies even about money. Because in order for you to create more wealth, you've got to challenge some of those old ideas and thoughts, right? Is it possible that the reason, a big, massive separator between you and Warren Buffett is that Warren Buffett just thinks a little bit differently? He looks at investing a little bit differently, or maybe a lot differently, right? Opposite than we do. Is that a possibility? just something to chew on, something to think about for a second. Of course, we want residual income. We want that true financial freedom that really only residual income can bring. So, just think about this for a second. If you stopped working today, how long could you last before you had to go back to work? Would you last 1 month? Would you last 6 months? A year? Would you last a week? Right? Are we paycheck to paycheck? Are we so strapped? And I think for most of us, most of Americans are in the situation where we spend 100 to 110% of what we earn. So we're not only eating it all up, but we're getting in debt. So how do we turn those tables back? How do we get it back in our favor? Because most of us would like to generate this residual income. If you were to actually try to create a residual income of, let's just call it $5,000 per month, and let's assume that you could earn a 4% annual dividend, how much money would you need to generate by retirement time to create that $5,000 a month? Again, we're assuming that you can create a 4% annual dividend. I'll tell you, you would have to actually accumulate $1.5 million. Now, here's the crazy kicker, and I said it just a second ago, but I hope that sinks in. If we're like most individuals here in America, and we're spending 100 to 110% of what we're earning, in other words, we're not putting much away. We're not saving very much. Statistically, 60% of us have less than $25,000 saved at retirement. So if that's the truth, and the average income is $40,000, well, we're behind the 8 ball, right? Come retirement time, we might have the funds to last a half of a year, maybe a year if we really stretched it and cut our expenses out. But that's not a retirement that we've been looking for. That's not the retirement that we want, that we dreamed about. So how do we have to do something different? So going back to this, $1.5 million, what would that take for us to accumulate? Let's say we have 20 years. And I know some of us here watching may not have 20 years, may feel like we don't have 20 years, right? But let's just say that I were to give you 20 years of time to accumulate that wealth. How much money would you have to save every single month? Taking it, and I'll even give you a massive boost here. Let's say that you were able to invest that money year over year over year at a 10.8% interest rate, which is the S&P 30-year average. What would that look like? If you were able to invest it, how much money would you need to save per month investing it at a 10.8% interest rate over 20 years? I'll give you the answer. The answer is, in order to accumulate that $1.5 million, you would have to save almost $1,800 a month, $1,798 a month. How realistic is this? Well, for most of us, it's just not very. So we need to bridge that gap. We've got to do something different. And this is what we're here to talk about. We're talking about real estate. And I'm going to talk about 2 different options because no matter where I go, where I travel, and who I speak to or who joins us online from all across the world, I know that I'm always talking to at least 2 different groups of people. I've got the people that want to do it themselves, right? They want to learn about it and do it all themselves. That's option number 1. And I know I always have people that want to learn it. They still want to know the information, but they really want it done for them. They understand that real estate really isn't their passion. They're just passionate about using it as a vehicle, right? So I've got always 2 different individuals in the room, and I want to talk to first the option 1, right? Anybody who's an option 1er, I'm going to talk to you first. Because the reality is we can help you in both areas. I'm going to talk about how we do that. First of all, those that want to learn it and do it themselves. We have what we call our REIC Academy. This REIC Academy are quarterly events. We actually have our next event coming up just this week. Next week. No, it's this week. It's this week, isn't it? Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm really excited about it. And what we do at our REIC Academy quarterly trainings is we talk about how to do these no money down deals, how to do that the right way. We talk about how to transact big deals in your backyard with massive equity. How many of you would love to learn how to do that? How to identify the best markets in which to transact. I mean, that's a crazy one. If you look at it, there's over 350 markets and sub-markets all throughout just the United States. How do we determine which ones are best, right? We can help you with that. We've been doing this now for years and years. How to get paid thousands for bird dog networking without a license. How do we actually create more opportunity in real estate investing? How money is really made when flipping deals. We have flipped hundreds of homes. We can show you exactly how that's done. and of course a whole lot more. And then on top of that, you get access to certain things. You get access to private money funds, to industry experts, to insider tips and tricks, and so much more. Special money-making events, networking with other members, actual live deals that at these quarterly events you can come together and form partnerships and do more and more real estate. First Rice access to our real estate crowdfunding pools. Now, this is something that's not available yet, but we believe that very shortly in the short term, it will be made available where somebody can literally put in a small amount of money. Someone who may not have a full down payment or the credit or whatever can still access the power of what real estate brings to the table and be able to receive the returns that they otherwise wouldn't be able to receive and start growing their wealth in a very massive way, and so much more. So again, this is our REIC Academy. These are the events that a lot of people will come to really get an in-depth, hands-on, how can I do this and how can I expand from where I am right now. And that's a huge event. Now jumping into the other side, option tours here. All you option tours, let me know. These are the individuals, again, who want to learn it, but then say, you know what, I'm good. I'm really busy. I work 40 to 60 hours a week, whatever that might look like. Maybe you work one job, 2 or 3 jobs, and you say, you know what, I just don't want to do it myself. It's not my passion, but I would love a team to do it for me. This is who I'm talking to right now. And this is where our power team goes to work for you. We've got a team of over 200 professionals, experts in their fields, who know exactly what to do and how to do it. I'm going to talk about our track record in just a minute, but they are all about building that portfolio for you, but giving you 100% of the profit. And don't be mistaken, Strongbrook is I think we're pretty smart individuals. We also believe in making money, so don't worry about us. We are going to make our money, but we've set it up in a way where we benefit as you benefit. In other words, as we help you to transact successful real estate, we'll earn just about 5% on each transaction and the typical fees that you would be paying some company anyway. We own the companies that support that entire real estate process, which allows us to really service our clients in a very special way. And the neat thing about that is our clients continue to come back and do more and more and more real estate. 60% of our real estate at any given year is from repeat transactors, right? Repeat customers that come back to us and do it again and again. So we really love that. Again, you receiving all the benefit while we do 100% of the work there for you. And I'm going to come back to this idea of a game plan. This is where everyone starts. Whether you want it done for you or you want to do it yourself, one of the greatest gifts that we provide for people is this concept of a game plan. This is where we sit down with you, where we actually pull back the curtains and we unveil to you exactly what we would do in your current situation. And I will tell you, it has taken millions of dollars and many, many years and a lot of experience in real estate to come up with what we now provide for those that come and attend these events. We provide this game plan, which is such a powerful, powerful concept, to really reverse engineer based on your ability exactly what our system can do for you. And then one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to say, I love my game plan, I'm ready to move forward, or you're going to say, I love my game plan, but no thanks. Or maybe the real estate's not right for me, or I don't like your system. And honestly, I'm okay with either way. One of the biggest things that I've recognized in life is so many of us will go through life with blind spots. We'll go through life with not all of the information, and we're making decisions based upon a limited amount of resource and information, so we're doing the best that we can. What would that be like if all of a sudden you get options that you didn't even know you had, where doors are open that you thought maybe before were closed, and all of a sudden you realize you can do a whole lot more and create a whole lot more wealth for yourself with your current set of resources and assets. This is what the game plan is all about. So I highly recommend that. And I'm going to give everyone an opportunity to receive that game plan here at the end as well. Our done-for-you approach is all about doing the work for you. Like I said before, we find the homes, we buy them, we fix them up, help you get the proper financing on them. We then lease them out for you. We manage it, maintain it. And when it comes time for your exit strategy, we sell it. We help you recoup or gain the maximum profit and benefit from that property. And like I said before, we're just going to earn the 5% in typical real estate fees with each transaction that we help you do successfully. Does that motivate us to work with you? Does that motivate us to actually make sure that your process and your experience is a great one? Absolutely. Because I already know, if I get you into a home and it's not working, you don't like it, pretty high chances are that you're probably never going to come back and do it with us again. So we've set it up in a way where, again, we benefit as you benefit. And I think that that's been working really, really well for us. So how does facilitated real estate work? First of all, you're given a personal coach, someone who's dedicated to your success, who knows your system, who knows your game plan, creating that custom game plan with you, and then they help you to execute that, okay? We educate you on the growth and income markets. We help you identify and access those assets that you have and leverage them appropriately, going back to that quote from J.B. Shea, right? And we find and present the deals that fit your game plan. We facilitate the financing, and then you make the decisions. Okay, you're still the CEO. This is still your business. These are your properties. We are just facilitating the execution. Okay, and this is where we come in. This is where it gets really fun because we've had a lot of experience. Let me just kind of show you a little bit about the system and how it works. We give you access, like I said before, to the best equity growth and cash flowing properties in some of the hottest markets around the nation. Now, here is one of our markets. I believe this is Indianapolis, if I'm not mistaken. But here's a home. You can see a lot of great numbers. Purchase price, $89,000. The TOP, or total out of pocket, if you're financing that, would be just over $25,000. The monthly rent is $950. PITI, which is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. That's your full mortgage payment, would be $465, which leaves you with a monthly cash flow of $379. Now, let me ask you a question. If you start getting this monthly cash flow that you never had before, right, utilizing assets that weren't paying you monthly before, does that start to make a difference? I think for most people, they would say, yeah, $379 extra coming in from money that I had just sitting there that wasn't paying me. I would love to learn how to create that. And what if all of a sudden we were able to take that and multiply it again and again and again for you? That's what this is all about, right? So what we do is we specialize in the short-term buy and hold strategy, single-family homes that are bought below the median with very strict parameters. And those strict parameters really help to minimize as much risk as possible, or in the terms of Warren Buffett, to maximize that margin of safety, right? Minimize the risk and maximize the profits. So really, we're just adopting the exact same philosophy that Warren Buffett has had for years, which is come in low, or come in with safety, come in with as little risk as possible, and receive the very highest returns that we possibly can. And this is the strategy that we have proven time and time again that does that. So what we'll do is we'll help you get into one home first. Now, if I can help you get into one home, what do I already know? Well, based on our experience, I know that I can help that home turn your real estate portfolio into multiple homes, right? You start off with one home, done the right way, and then I help you have that home purchase your next home. In other words, without necessarily having to come out of pocket with any more cash, you can actually have your real estate help you purchase the next real estate. In other words, $1 is now working for you in multiple locations. This is what we call dynamic growth. This is something that real estate does that no other investment that I know about can do, which is to grow dynamically, have your dollar working for you in multiple locations. This is so powerful. And then we have those homes purchase your next several homes, and so on and so forth, and all of a sudden your portfolio is growing in an exponential way. Here's a chart, and if you can see this, just a couple things. I'm not going to dwell on it, but just to show you a couple things. If you can start with 2 homes in your first year, I can show you over 20 years how you can take those 2 homes and multiply them into 13 paid off free and clear properties. And those 13 paid off free and clear properties are going to help you with a net worth of $1.8 million, but we already talked about net worth, not as important, right? What's more important? Cash flow, residual income. Well, with this chart here, you can see that the cash flow, and if you can't see it, it says the cash flow right there is up to $132,000 a year. That's annual cash flow. So let me ask you a question. With $132,000 of annual cash flow, can we now start to think about retirement a little bit differently maybe than we have in the past? Can we start to relax a little bit? Can we begin to do those things that we've wanted to do? Can we start living in our passions, utilizing our talents and our abilities, doing the things that we've wanted to always create, maybe helping the people that we've wanted to, maybe traveling and spending that time with our family? All of a sudden, that retirement that we wanted starts to look more and more possible with these type of numbers backing that up. So how do I know that what we do works? Well, let's take a look at our track record, okay? This is just the last 1,000 deals that we've done. It's amazing to me what we've been able to help our clients accomplish. Because at the end of the day, everyone has different goals of what they want to do. But to watch and see their real estate get them closer and closer and closer to accomplishing those goals, to achieving those dreams, it's such a massive benefit for me. And I'm so grateful for it. But if you take a look at this, we've got an average purchase price of $137,000. Wonderful, right? We're not going out and buying $1 million homes, and we're also not buying $20,000 homes. There's a reason why we're here at this $137,000 mark, because we're trying to do real estate that creates, that meets a certain criteria. If you've got your pen and paper, I want you to write this down. I'm going to give you just a little bit of a bonus. I don't have this on my slides, but you're going to want to write this down, because this is really the strategy that we use in getting into real estate, or in actually doing any investment. Before I do any investment, before any of us do any investments, we compare it on these 6 criteria. So write this down. Number 1, what investment is going to take the least amount of time? Okay, this is one of the reasons why we have this system in place, is because it's creating this predictability, and we know that it takes the least amount of time, right? So what investment takes the least amount of time, number 1. Number 2, the least amount of effort. I don't want this to be a second job. How many of you think that you need to swing the hammer to make a lot of money in real estate? Well, you don't, okay? Let me just squash that for you right now. You want to do something that takes the least amount of time. And if you've ever thought to yourself, I really just want to flip a home, let me just tell you, I was down in Colorado probably about almost a year ago. And I was speaking with a couple down there. They are working with us. They're clients of ours. And they said, Stephen, we've been doing homes with you, and it's working perfectly, and we love it. But we really just kind of wanted to try out flipping a home on our own. So we did. I said, well, awesome. Well, how did it go? They said, well, it was actually not too bad. We earned $25,000 from it. And I said, wow, that's great. She said, well, it really wasn't that great. She said, I don't want to build a false picture. I said, well, what do you mean? She said, well, we got the home, and it had some work to do, and we got in there, and it took us, several months to fix it up and to do the things. We were doing it all by ourselves. We both worked other jobs, but we were fixing up the homes and doing all these things, or the home, and doing all these things and doing the repairs ourselves. And she said, I did the math. I said, what do you mean you did the math? She said, well, I looked at what we earned, $25,000, and I divided the hours that we spent collectively into that number. She said, do you know how much money we actually made per hour? I said, well, no. How much money did you make per hour? She said, about $5.75 an hour. Wow. I mean, think about that. And I said, you could have gotten a job at McDonald's working the night shift, and you would have made more money during that time than you did on your investment. Would you call McDonald's an investment? She said, absolutely not. I said, so let's stop calling that kind of real estate an investment, because it's really just a glorified job, and it's not even glorified. It's worse. It's worse than minimum wage, So we've got to do investments that work for us. We've got to do things that actually work. So again, least amount of time, least amount of effort. Number 3, least amount of risk. Can I ever get rid of all the risk? Absolutely not, but I can mitigate as much of it as I can through a system, because it does generate some level of predictability. We'll talk about that in a minute, but least amount of risk, creates a service in the community, is not market dependent. Okay, so 4 and 5, creates a service in the community. Number 5 is not market dependent. And number 6 is profitable. So when I take those 6 criteria and I stack what we do here at Strongbrook with every other investment that's out there, anything, I don't care what it is, right? Everything from precious metals and gold to 401ks and IRAs to whatever else, right? To the stock market and mutual funds. When you stack those things up against what we do here at Strongbrook, nothing comes close. Like nothing. We've looked at it all. And if you have something that comes close, please let me know, because we're gonna start selling that instead. Okay. The point is this is what the system has done for us. Is it's helped us to determine what our clients should do and how they should do it. It's determined. It's created that predictability. We've got average year built, average equity ROI. ROI is the return on investment, right? Your actual return. So the equity ROI is 20%. Average cash on cash ROI is 13+%. You can see a lot of other things here. I'm not going to go through everything, but again, we've created predictability. We've created a system where we know that if you get into this property, on average, you're only going to have 42.4 days of vacancy. That is a powerful, powerful number, because with that, I can plan appropriately. It's not if a tenant's going to leave the home, it's when. It's not if the toilet's going to break, it's when. And one of the major problems that people do when getting into real estate is they're planning and accounting for all the profits, but they forget to plan for the expenses, right? Real estate's a real true business. You got both expenses and profits. So you've got to account for both. And this level of predictability, because of the strict parameters that we take when investing and helping our clients invest in real estate, allows you to plan appropriately. And I love that part of our program and what we do there. So at the end of the day, you've got a project manager. Your project manager is going to connect you with the team of experts. That team of experts is going to access the very best properties, where they're going to facilitate the funding, fixing, leasing, management of those properties. And at the end of the day, let me ask you a question. When you build this wealth, are you going to want to protect it? Yeah. You don't want one lawsuit to stand in between you and bankruptcy or you and losing that property, right? Or anything like that. So we help them put a comprehensive asset protection in place so that they're building that lasting wealth, that legacy. So that pot of gold is behind a closed and locked door, right? Then we help them to buy and sell as they're expanding and growing their portfolio. And then it's really just a rinse and repeat. They go back with their project manager who helps them to do those steps over and over and over again, building that long-term lasting residual income that's going to help them catapult themselves into a retirement that is enjoyable, a retirement where there's freedom, a retirement where they can go out and visit their family, their friends, do the things that they want. And not just a retirement where they can do all those things, but a place and a space where they can leave a legacy for those that they love. So, one of the things that a lot of people will do in just starting out with us is, if they don't know, hey, is this REIC Academy right for me? Is that the best step for me? We also have a 3-day event that a lot of individuals will come to first. This is called our Wealth Intensive. And at this 3-day event, it's not just about real estate, although definitely there's a large portion of that where we really pull back the curtains and we get into how we do what we do and how we help our clients do the exact same thing. But we talk about learning about the very best ways to transact in the very best areas around the nation, unlocking your hidden assets, learning how to transact with and without money, learning how to minimize the risk, right? Not get rid of, because you can't. This is an investment. If anyone ever tells you that their investment has no risk in it, run as fast as you can, okay? Slide back up the rainbow. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Learn how to minimize that risk, right? Minimize the out-of-pocket expense, and then cash in on some of the very best tax write-offs. How do we save more money as we're earning more money? It's a great thing. And this is huge. And I haven't talked about this yet, but we have just tremendous experience. You're going to learn from our experience. We have been doing this now for many, many years. And we've transacted over $500 million, $500 million with a B, like boy, right? Over $500 million of real estate with our clients. That kind of experience is invaluable. And it gives us actual data. It gives us actuaries that we can then utilize to help our clients to earn more, to mitigate more risk, to increase that margin of safety, which again for them is just minimizing more of that risk and maximizing more of those profits and gains that they want to experience. So that Wealth Intensive is just an amazing opportunity to learn all about that. Again, that's a 3-day event. We just had it last week, had a phenomenal group with us. A simple and easy investment of $499 will get you into that event, and we'll talk about that in just a second as well, some more. But my question for you is, first of all, which option is best for you, right? I don't know right now whether you're an option oneer or an option twoer, right? Whether you want to learn it and do it yourself or learn it and have it done for you. There's 2 things that I believe that you might need. So let me just help you first of all with those 2 things. Number 1, you're going to want to receive a custom game plan consultation. And then number 2, you're probably going to want to come to our 3-day Wealth Intensive, where we unlock all these different things, where we talk about some of these next steps, and really you get to know who we are as a company. We hold these events actually right here in our corporate office, and we give those that are all around the world or all around the country access via live stream. Just like you might be watching this right now, you can actually tune in and participate in our 3-day Wealth Intensive right in the comfort of your own home through your phone or your tablet or your PC. And start to learn some of the things that you need to do and some of the next steps that you might need to take in order to really utilize real estate as a massive benefit for you. So We talked about it. You need the custom game plan. You know what that's all about. We want to offer that to you. And as well as this wealth intensive. And I want to do something here that I've really never done before. Maybe I've done it one other place. But I want to offer something. Oops, can you throw that last slide back up, Carson? I've got something in my hand here. I believe so strongly in what we can do for our clients that that game plan that really has a $200 value on it, I'm going to give you something that that I'm just super excited about. But again, I want to create and provide some value. To say thank you for being here with us today, I want to give everyone here in this room, first of all, I want to give you a free ticket to our Wealth Intensive. Now, I know I just got up here and said it's a $499 value, and honestly it is. And even on these tickets that we have an affiliate program where if you are an affiliate with us, you can gain access to these tickets for $69, so you can get them discounted for you. I'm going to do you one better right now, and maybe it's because it's St. Patrick's Day, and I'm really feeling generous, and I want to give out that pot of gold a little bit. I want to give everyone a ticket to our next Wealth Intensive. If you don't have those dates, you can actually find them on our website or on our app. But I do want to tell you, our next one coming up is April 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that's April 6th, 7th, and 8th of this year, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's at our Utah Valley Convention Center. Again, we are going to be live streaming that event. So if you are somewhere else, you can attend via live stream as well. But everyone that's here tonight, no matter where you are, I want to give you an opportunity to get one of these tickets for free. The way that you will get this ticket for free is by sending an email right now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Just do it right now to christine.rushing@strongbrook.com. So Christine, CHRISTINE .rushing, RUSHING. We'll go ahead and put the link here in our chat. So if you're looking on your computer and you've access to the chat, go ahead and get there. We'll send that email to you, christine.rushing@strongbrook.com. And if you will email her with the subject line, free wealth intensive ticket and game plan. Free wealth intensive ticket and game plan. If you will request that game plan, we'll be sure to register you and give you a call to register you for free for our Wealth Intensive. Again, this is a $499 valued event. The discount tickets are even $69 that I'm offering you for free right now, just because you're here. The only way to get that, if you send that email and request not only the game plan, but that Wealth Intensive ticket as well. In that email, make sure you do include your name and your phone number. Okay, so we'll have your email. Make sure you include your name and your phone number, and we'll get that to you. So with that, guys, again, hopefully that's some value. Hopefully you've received some value tonight. I'd love to open it up. And Carson, will you just type in real quick, see if anyone has any questions that's watching right now? I know there's a little bit of a delay, so if you just type that in, that'd be great. So any questions I'd love to take, if there are any, and if not, we hopefully will see you at the next Wealth Intensive and be able to provide you with your game plan as well. Get you closer to that pot of gold, if you know what I mean. Just taking a second here. Any questions online? Great. All right, looks like we've got a question from somebody online.
So someone online is asking, they're wondering what the lowest amount they would have to invest to get started in one of our programs.
Oh, fantastic question. They said, what's the lowest amount that I would have to invest in order to get started in one of our programs? And honestly, we have programs that range everything from just a $99 a month. And I'm answering this question very specifically because I believe it's very important. It depends on where you are in the process and what you can do. Honestly, if you have the ability to go out and do one home, we have programs that will help you do one home. If you have assets and ability to go up and do very many homes, and we've got programs that'll do that. So I'm trying not to be too ambiguous here, but we do have programs that range everything from just $99 a month on up to $30,000 for one of our most elite programs that we have. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, options that you can do. My recommendation, again, is get a free game plan. One of the things that I'm very clear is most of us don't want to go through life making blind choices, right? We'd like to make choices based on the biggest amount of information and the very most options that are given to us. The game plan is really, it's not a commitment. It's find out your options. See if this is something that will work for you. You can't know that until you go through that process. And honestly, some of the biggest feedback that we get from people that have experienced that game plan is, oh my goodness, I had no idea that I could even do those things. I had no idea that I had those options available to me. As a matter of fact, Wileen Benson couldn't be here tonight, but I think she's online. When she first came to us, she tells this story all the time, so I know that I've got a little bit of liberty to share it. She said when she first came to us, they were going in the hole. I think they're going in the hole like $1,700 a month or something like that. And after she had the game plan with us, not only were we able to help her get out of that hole and reorganize her assets in a way where that was taken care of, but she also came in at the highest level that we offer. She started, I think she's now on her second or third property. I mean, she's doing real estate. She came in and became an affiliate with us and started sharing the message and earning more money that helped her to go out and do more things. And so it's just, there's a lot of different options. There's things right now that you have no idea that you could probably do, that just because of our experience and time in the marketplace, it's made us open our eyes to those options and possibilities. So hopefully that answered your question. There are several programs at all different levels. Anything else there, Carson? So if you submit your information to christine.rushing@strongbrook.com, we've got your tickets waiting here. So all you got to do is get your tickets by submitting your information. All right, everyone. Hey, any other comments or questions there? Thank you very much. Well, everyone, I hope you have a fantastic evening. Thank you for spending this time with me. We'd love to have you back anytime. We do these every single week. And my request and my wish is that you receive value tonight, and that you received enough value that next time you want to bring a friend with you and show them what it is that we're doing, because honestly, if they come and do something with us, I'd also love to write you a little check too. We can talk more about that later. But with all of that, everyone, thank you so much. Get your game plan. Get your free ticket to the Wealth Intensive. We'd love to have you there. And I wish you a very wonderful day, a wonderful week. And if you celebrate it, happy St. Patrick's Day coming up tomorrow. Bye-bye.